Thank you very much, Antons. So, I always say there are so many ways of playing Bach as there are players attempting to do so. So, you know, in this search for what is the right way to play Bach, I think we are all pretty much alone.
We're searching.
And searching alone. And I'm not sure whether I am the person who should tell you how to solve this, because what you do is very personal, I feel, and you have a very good feeling for, let's say, the extra message behind these notes. Although there are some choices that I'm not sure whether they are your choices or whether that are just things which come out that way. Mm-hmm. And also, I'm not quite sure whether your message that you play, which comes out, is something that can be shared broadly, let's say, because sometimes I feel it's on the border of being obscure without wanting to, you know, I don't want to
Understand.
yeah, you understand. So in terms of rhythm, for example, but I also want to tell you, maybe it's for you nice to know, because you said you have lots of questions, so I love to discuss some things and maybe help you with questions. I remember so well when I was a student, at that time, the people who started to play Bach authentically, they were just sort of starting their careers. I mean, people like Christophe Coin or even Anna Belsma started to be really famous then, at that time. Mm-hmm. And he was, of course, you know, you put on gut strings, you don't vibrate much, there are certain predicaments. You try to stick as much as you possibly can to this manuscript and all these kind of things. But what I mostly remember, what made such a strong impression on me, was the fact that Anna Belsma played these suites in a way that I didn't think was at all possible, first of all, but also that it would be allowed to do so, you know, because you always have kind of in your mind, and definitely my teachers so far had told me, okay, basically, you know, Bach is kind of strict and it's regular and it's logical and it's in certain ways predictable. And then I heard a performance which didn't have any of these elements. Okay. And I was convinced by it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say I'm not sure that I'm the right person to tell you how to do. You know what I mean? Yes. So let's say if these choices are, but I do think we have a kind of obligation as players to, you know, the music of Bach has so many qualities. I mean, like this prelude, for example. Something happening? No, I think it's okay. No. You can hear me fine, no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So the prelude is, to start with, an incredibly beautiful melody. But I think you also would agree that it's not only a melody. Mm-hmm. So let's say there are other structures as well. There are polyphonic structures, I think. So like la da da la da da la. The C sharp relates to the D. We are back to the D, and then C, B, A. So that's one element, so the polyphonic. Then we have the rhythmical structure, which means always this 1 and 2, da 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 da. So somehow we have a nearly a sarabande feeling.
Yeah.
And we have, of course, the harmonical succession, and we have sometimes notes which are just a filling for a chord, and sometimes we have literally beautiful diatonic scales and lines. So all these elements, I think they deserve our attention, and I would think that if you single out only one of them, it shouldn't be like that you miss all the others, and vice versa. So let's say a player who only plays this like an aria, I think misses out on the structural elements, and somebody who would be playing with a metronome misses out on the element of the fantasy and the spontaneous. Yeah? So, yeah. Okay. So, how would you say your performance in terms of freedom? Would you say you were very free or just a little free?
I think I was very free.
Yes, pretty much, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is something you like, or you want to stick to?
Actually,
Or do
no,
you think-
No.
So your freedom is a little bit something that you feel that if you would be less free, you would disturb something.
Yeah.
I understand. So do you have a specific question?
About chords, about the end, about the. It's okay
Yes.
not to be.
Yeah. Well,
Or
yeah.
like
Yes.
Decide.
I noticed that you played the chords usually with two bows.
yes.
And is there a I mean, for me, it didn't disturb me musically, but it was new to me. It seemed to me more like a viola da gamba technique or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think especially the end, you would be free to do so. I mean, this piece doesn't have so many chords, so it didn't disturb me. But the question is whether the end, these final bars, whether there you shouldn't fill it in with something else. Whether, Bach has sometimes, and it's not only with Bach, it's with other Baroque composers, sometimes when they felt that there needed to be done an arpeggio or something, they would just give the notes of the harmonies, and then usually people do that when they don't have much time. So, for example, Vivaldi, he wrote pieces, I think sometimes you can just see, basically he wrote it down in a quarter of an hour, a whole concerto. And then he would write just the harmonies, and then you have to do, you have to do arpeggio. I'm not saying, but I think in this case, I find it more satisfying to not just play the chords, because then it feels to me like a new piece.
Okay.
Yeah. So my suggestion would be find some improvisation or something which is maybe in the style of the prelude, which respects the harmonies which are indicated. And yeah,
Understand
so
you.
I mean, I have, of course, a kind of solution for myself.
Okay.
So let's see, how does it finish? So when you are here, do you? Something like that. Or you could also
like
do. But then, you see, I would choose elements which you have already had in the movements, in that movement, not something completely new.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking you about
Yes.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember Anna Belsma said always like, somebody was at the door. He was writing, and then there was somebody at the door, and he needed to stop. And just quickly, I don't know. We will never know. We will never know. Yeah. But yeah. So my advice would be find something, take your favorite bar of the prelude,
Yes.
and then you just play some notes which are in that style.
I'll
And-
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And another question, or maybe that's not a question, but
Okay.
another issue is this whole thing about when do we go in higher positions? And I just basically, my general advice is choose the low position as far as you can. But indeed, I don't start. I find that a little, for me, that's a little too. So I do start here. Yeah, so I do start in that position. Yeah.
But or because one string. It's like step by step. Not.
Yes.
Like this.
That's nice. I think that's a nice solution. Yes. Yeah. So let's say when you go in the higher positions, I think it's very important. One thing I would really disadvise is that you have slides in a slur. That I wouldn't do. So whatever you do, but that you make sure that your fingering is such that we don't. So that in general you don't have romantic connections with that. I would. So usually that's the only reason why I say play another fingering is because I have heard a slide which I didn't like
Yeah.
so much. Yeah. Yeah. And another question, yeah.
Yes.
Another basic thing is actually how to play our up bows a little lighter than the down bows. For example, if you do that, then we somehow think the pulse in eighth notes. Then we do. But if you want, you should maybe play that up bow rather light and a little separated from the next down bow.
So I understand. Yeah.
Nice. I like this beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, the only, let's say, if you want to call it a danger, is when you do. If you wait really long, then we have nearly an extra beat, rather than. And in a way, you see everything which comes after now within brackets. So in a way, that's what I mean with structural elements. In a way, this it's like, and then it's again lam pam pa. So there you have maybe a pulse like 1 and
Yes.
2. Da dee 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 da 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 dee dee da dee da dee da dee da. 1 and 2. So this element which you had in the very beginning is coming back quite a lot of times. And that I think is nice to point out. And also to give the audience a clear feeling of what is between brackets and what is really essential structure. Yeah. Now it's up to you. You have more questions.
Yeah. So about this place. Not
Yes.
not the forte, but the piano. What do you think about that place?
Yes.
If we are
Well, I
going
think-
not to the forte, but to the
Yeah.
piano.
Ah, I see what you mean. So you want this?
Yes. So we have culmination a little before this
That's
place.
true.
Yes. And then yes.
That's very nice, I think.
Okay. Okay.
To me, that can make sense. Of course, you could shape it differently, but for me, that's nice. Also because here, then a bit more.
Yes, like a step by step to the next culmination.
Yes. And then you have reached a plateau. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. So this is like a big organ point.
Yes. Yeah. So this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
For me,
Okay.
it makes a lot of sense. Yes. And then, oh, and then tell me, how do you? So of course, after this, then you continue.
No. So
Bravo.
the old version of yeah, the story about chords.
Yeah, good. It's very convincing what you show now, I think. I think by sort of trying to demonstrate once
Yeah.
more what you mean to say, you were more clear. And that's really good. I think that was sounded really nice.
Thank you.
I just wanted to put your attention to one thing, that when you are free rhythmically, you should try to think of the big units. I like, in this case, basically quarter notes. So that, for example, when you do, but not so in a way, then I feel that you are literally playing a ritardando from note to note,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
rather than yeah. Look, you play these final chords really beautiful. So I personally, I have no objection to this at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, really nice. And yeah, so I think you maybe felt what I meant, in the sense that when you do a ritardando or an accelerando, that you try to place it in the bigger units and not note by note. That wouldn't be enough in the style, I think. So when you have something like ya da da da, ya da da da, ya da 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 da. That's fine, but not ya da 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 da.
Yeah, understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. That was just my little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very well done. And
Okay.
in terms of, yeah, we didn't talk about slurs yet. And I mean, do you? I pretty much invent them myself, and then later I look in the manuscript, and then sometimes I take some of them out. But I have no objection to that either. It's just there are certain things which I think are not in the style, and that is if you slur into a next beat. That I wouldn't do, or into a new harmony. That Bach practically, he does it practically never. Yeah. So it's often, and the other thing is that a slur always means a grouping of notes where you give the main interest is the first note of the slur. For example, when you play, but not a,
Just first
you-
note, yeah.
yeah. Otherwise, you might as well not slur. You see, so a slur actually wants to highlight the first note and to show that the other notes are kind of a natural succession of the first note. And so like that you get groupings. And otherwise, if there are no groupings, like if you would play that separate, you would probably play, and then, so in other words, if you are in doubt about where to slur and whether certain notes could be put together underneath a slur, you play first separate and you try to figure out how do you group them in your mind. And then you make sure that the slurs are not disturbing a polyphonic structure. So as a good example would be that this bar. So if you this is clearly a chord.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so here you have and this belongs to here. So would be a possible slur, or yeah.
It's so much variations about this thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So
And this
much.
is the other thing. Yeah, this is the other thing that I think we are not doing a good job if in our bowings we are completely predictable. Because actually, if you look at the notes, there's in every bar there is kind of a turn which is surprising and unexpected. And that also needs. So let's say if somebody would decide to do. It's not impossible, but I think you miss then an important element if you just play slurs by 4 all the time. Could be
Yeah.
done, but it's not. That you agree with, I think.
Yes.
That there you have to look for more variety. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, it's not. Yeah. It's also that I really don't believe in a master class like, okay, this is what I do. Do it. Do the same.
Yes, I understand you.
It doesn't interest me in that sense. So, I hope you didn't expect that kind of a class. Yeah. Would you like to play the Sarabande as well? Or shall we move to Popper?
Yeah.
Let's move to Popper.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. me see. Is this Very well done. I know this problem. Oh,
I'm sorry, I have problem with this.
very well done. Really great. Yeah. Do you want to finish?
No.
Yeah.
So
Very well. You know. Yeah. Yeah. I have some things. So it's very good, and you have a very very nice approach to this free style, this Hungarian style. Now, my question is, I would do everything personally to somehow make it more rhythmical.
okay.
Of course, then the danger is that the whole thing is too regular, which it shouldn't be. But I'm just curious, have you played this with an accompaniment or an accompanist?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
And how many rehearsals did you need? No, sorry. No, yeah, but was it okay, or did you have to stop at every bar and say, I slow down here and I go here, and because
It
it
depends
seems
of the day, because I have days that I play very rhythmical and some days when I play completely. I don't know why this is happening with me.
okay. Look, I try to, yeah. So let's say I sometimes have a feeling, for example, when you have this. So there is an accompaniment. Yap, bap, 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 bam, yap, bap, 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 bap. I have a feeling you can't go too free there. But let me just start from the beginning. So first of all, I think your first cadenza is about D major, and when you play, it seems to me. So let's say I hear like 2 or 3 moments of D major, whereas I would try to make one gesture. Especially the second bar. So here, not, but.
Okay.
One thing here. I don't hear. I don't. And I hear this rather than. Yaba. Yes. Fantastic. Really well done. I would go up the D string. But have you tried, or because I'm
I
not
was
sure.
playing before. Yeah.
I'm not sure whether you should reach it so forcefully rather
It
than.
depends of you're going to the forte or diminuendo.
Yeah, I would say diminuendo. And then. Yeah.
Okay.
Bravo. And then. Sorry. So I'm so sorry because I'm a little bit. I really love what you do, but I think you would win by doing Yatatatam tatam pi yada.
That,
So
okay.
a little bit more. I have one student. We did groups lessons online,
Yeah.
and I have an Irish student, and she said to us also, "Shall we talk about rhythmical integrity?" So this is our in the class. This is a word like rhythmical integrity. Let's have a bit more of that. Yeah. Ya ta ta tam ta tam. Yeah. Good. Tempo goes now. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, so and then ta 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 tam. And I was wondering, I found it a bit a pity that you. I would sometimes prefer if you take this. Yeah. Very good, Antons. Very, very nice. I have one suggestion when you do this 3 times. I would say the first time, so I would go over the string with a little slide. Second time, and then,
Okay.
So that you
three
save-
different times, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. Yeah. Wow, so good. I don't have this music. Is it your invention or
Yes.
do you have it?
This is
Fantastic. It's really good. Yeah. Wow. Do you play a lot in this style? A lot of music in this style?
No.
No. No. I mean, you don't have your private Hungarian band or something?
No, I don't have it. No.
No. It's very nice. You have a wonderful feeling for this. Now, my last request would be to also, with the andante, be a little bit more showing us the rhythm. You see this ya ta 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 yara, and then pa di di yara yara, and then ya pa 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 yara, ti ti yara yara. Especially when you have this, because there is the offbeat. Ti ba da. Yes. Once more. Yes. And dim pa da da. You don't have that. Jada. I have in the beginning, and you have?
Yes.
So that fourth beat, or that, let's say the last eighth note, so now, yeah, somebody's doing the, da, da, da. So there is an harmony. You need to show, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Great. Yeah. Very good catch. Good catch. I have one thing.
Okay.
This was all very, very nice. When you do this, for me, you were, so here you have more like, you are kind of framed within a certain tempo.
Okay.
And then when you are here you are again free. Yeah. So maybe you do once more. Great. Yeah. Sorry, I have one suggestion. As you are starting this with a kind of dolce, sweet sound, right?
No.
I have a feeling that it would be maybe good to not prepare that, but that you do. And here. That you stay forte, and then. This tempo-wise, now he says ritardando, and I would say start quick.
Okay.
So this is another. That's it. Bye. Beautiful. Maybe try the other ear. Maybe maybe the other ear. Maybe the other ear is better. That one. Yes. Wow. Okay. Anton, that's great. I was afraid you would play all this so perfectly. I mean, you certainly don't need a class on this. It's wonderful how you do that. You have wonderful facilities, and I must say that I have had some students who played it for me, and the clarity I could hear here, I think, is fantastic. Really good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Because the danger is always when you play that fast and when you play fast stuff that we don't really understand. But I really thought this was very, very clear. I even could hear the change to the F natural.
Sorry.
Great. Yeah. So look, my advice would be in the more rhythmical places where you have accompaniment, that you try to find a better combination of being more free, yes, but not
Yes.
too free, not too
Yes,
unpredictable.
this is my general
And
problem.
yeah, but for the rest, I think it's great what you do, and it's wonderful to listen to you. And
Thank you very much.
how old are you, Antons?
35.
Yes. Okay. Now you are a grown-up musician in many ways.
Yeah,
And-
I'm restart studying.
Okay.
I'm not
So you
studying,
have-
15 years, so
Uh-huh.
some years I'm not playing cello at all.
Right.
So I'm restart doing this.
Fantastic. No, it's really good. Really good what you do, and you have wonderful, wonderful abilities and musicianship. So it was really wonderful to work with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nice.
And all the best. And if you have more questions about Bach, send me WhatsApps, okay?
Oh, it's great.
can
Thank
do.
you very much.
Yeah.
I will do. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Take care. All the best
Take
for you.
care. Yeah, take care. Thank you. Thank you, Gregor.
Yeah. Bye bye for now. Bye.
Bye bye. Ciao.
Ciao.